Download from BBC Learning English.
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
To find out more, visit our website.
6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English. I'm Alice.
And I'm Neil. Hello.
Hello, Neil. You went to university, didn't you?
Ah, yes. University, the best days of my life. I made fantastic friends, went to great parties.
Did some work?
Well, yeah, I did some work, but probably not enough.
Well, the subject of today's show is student mental health. So, Neil, do you think you're looking back at your university days through rose-tinted spectacles, and that means looking at a situation as being better than it really was?
I did feel out of my comfort zone when I arrived, yes. Everyone seemed to know everyone, knew where to go.
Yes, well, being out of your comfort zone means being in a situation that you aren't familiar with and which makes you feel nervous. Did you talk to anyone about your feelings, Neil? Or did you get any counselling? And that means professional help with personal or psychological problems.
What? No, not me. I'm one of those men who isn't good at talking about their feelings, Alice. I just felt a bit homesick, that's all. I missed my friends and family. But let's move on, shall we? Why don't you ask me today's quiz question?
All right then. So here it is. In a survey of students at Imperial College London, how many students said they suffered from high levels of stress or a mental health condition during their time at college? Was it A, 1 out of 4, B, 2 out of 4, or C, 3 out of 4?
Well, I'm going to go for C, 3 out of 4, because I do think that university life can be more stressful than people realise.
Yes, and stress means pressure or worry caused by a difficult situation. OK, we'll find out if you're right or wrong later on. Now, in the UK, there has been a rise in students using counselling services.
Why is that, Alice?
Well, let's listen to Kirsty, a student at Exeter University, talking about why she has had problems. And here's a question for you while you listen. Did she enjoy her first days in college?
No, the thing is, it's a real balancing act. When I first got to university, I don't think I really realised that I'd forgotten how to make friends. You know, I'd been with the same school friends for 7 years, and so I was trying to balance, social success with academic success whilst learning how to look after myself at quite a young age. And I think that's the experience of a lot of young people, and people really struggle with it.
What's a balancing act, Alice?
It's where you try to give your attention to 2 or more things at the same time. So here, Kirsty is trying to balance making new friends with doing her academic work and learning to look after herself.
What does Kirsty mean when she says she's learning to look after herself?
Well, to look after someone means to protect or take care of someone. And in this case, Kirsty's learning to take care of herself. For example, doing her own shopping and cooking.
OK, let's listen to Dr. Ruth Caleb of the Counselling Service at Brunel University in London, talking about what practical stuff students could learn before leaving for university that might make life easier for them.
Certain things that I think it would be very, very helpful for students to have put in place are an ability to do the practical things of life, to do the washing, to do the cleaning and so on, being able to cook. Budgeting is extremely important in university life, and also spending time on your own comfortably.
Oh yes, that's excellent advice. I couldn't boil an egg when I arrived at uni.
Oh, really? Can you do it now, Neil?
Just about.
Oh, great. OK, and what about budgeting? Well, this means planning how much money you have and how you will spend it.
I'm still pretty bad at that. However, I am very good at spending time on my own comfortably.
Yes, I can believe that. Feet up, watching TV with a takeaway.
Takeaway, of course a takeaway, because I can't cook anything.
No.
Not even an egg. You know me so well. So how about the answer to today's quiz question, Alice?
All right then. I asked, in a survey of students at Imperial College London, how many said they suffered from high levels of stress or a mental health condition during their time at college? Was it A, 1 out of 4, B, 2 out of 4, or C, 3 out of 4.
And I said C, 3 out of 4.
Yes, and you are correct. Well done, Neil. The survey completed by over 1,000 students also found that almost 70% of those that suffer from stress do so at least once a week, and 9% of students feel stressed constantly. Stressed means anxious and worried.
Well, I feel anxious just thinking about all that stress. Can we hear today's words again?
We certainly can. They are: through rose-tinted spectacles, out of your comfort zone, counselling, homesick, stress, balancing act, look after yourself, budgeting, stressed.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's 6-Minute English. We hope you've had a...
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
stress-free time. Please do join us again soon. You know where to find us, don't you? Go to bbclearningenglish.com, where you'll find grammar points, vocabulary, and more editions of 6-Minute English. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ideas about the 5 senses.
Flick to link, a link to flick.
Version of the world around us. So, taste is a sense that's great, right? It's like the pleasure sense, but is it actually as important as the others? I mean, we could live without it, right?
Heresy, guy. Heresy. Taste is the last barrier to you putting something in your mouth that could go in your stomach and poison you.
Okay, but pretty important.
Yes.
This, by the way, is...
Dr. Nicole Garno?
And Nicole is a scientist at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, where she studies taste.
It is the last line of defense our ancestors, in terms of evolution and survival, used to ensure that they stayed away from things that were going to kill it, and they made sure that they swallowed things they needed, like protein and carbohydrates, fats, salt.
Taste is not a frivolous sense.
It is not a frivolous sense. It should be taken very seriously.
Yeah, sorry.
And also with a lot of fun.
So just like there are 5 senses, most scientists believe there are 5 tastes. And each one plays a very different role in keeping us alive, as Nicole explained on the TED stage.
We're going to start with the one that we like the least, and that's bitter. We're born not liking bitter. And that's because bitter equals poison in terms of survival. But we can learn to like bitter things once we realize they're not poison, and a great example is caffeine, coffee. So let's go to the other end of the spectrum. We love sweet because it is the taste of pure energy via simple carbohydrates like sugar. Now similarly, we love umami. Umami is the savory taste of protein, another thing we need for our bodies to survive. All right, now we're going to talk about a funky one, and that's sour, because it can either help us or harm us. So we tend to like weak acids like citric, and that's probably because we've evolved to need to like this so that we get vitamin C. But we do not like strong acids, like that in a car battery, right? That's going to kill us. We're not going to consume that. So the final one is salt. When your body needs salt to maintain fluid levels or other internal processes, we crave it. All right, so I just laid out for you taste. Taste is pretty logical and pretty straightforward when it comes to survival. I think it's too simple, actually. So I want to throw a wrench in what you think you know about taste. If evolution and survival are so complicated, as we know they are, why would taste be so simple? So I was curious about this, and I asked the question, why 5?
There could be a 6th taste?
There could be a 6th, 7th, 8th, so on and so forth. In terms of where the evidence lies, the one that seems to be the closest to really convincing sensory scientists across the world that it exists is fat taste. Fat taste is probably the 6th taste.
In just a moment, the hunt for the mysterious 6th taste. Stay with us. Today on the show, ideas about the 5 senses. I'm Guy Raz, and you're listening to the TED Radio Hour from NPR. It's the TED Radio Hour from NPR. I'm Guy Raz. And on the show today, ideas about the 5 senses. And we were just hearing from Nicole Garneau, who studies taste at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, where she, like some other scientists in the budding field of taste research, thinks that fat might be the mysterious sixth taste.
When I say fat, what do you think about?
I think of just big pieces of fat off a piece of meat. Just, congealed fat from the meat that cooked in a pot.
So this is the problem with taste science, is that it is dependent in a lot of ways on language. And so when I say fat, I'm thinking of the actual molecules, the fatty acids, the good fats, right? Omega-6, omega-3. So the fatty acid that we study is linoleic acid, and it is in meat, nuts, vegetables. It's something that your body needs to eat almost every day to survive because our bodies can't make it.
So what does it taste like?
It's actually a pretty gross taste. It's like, for me, it's kind of like stale popcorn in a bag that got left in your car, maybe with some melted plastic on it.
Ugh.
Not tasty. No.
So I'm out to prove that fat is the sixth taste. And in order to do that, you have to answer a lot of questions. But the one that's most intriguing to me as a geneticist is this. Is there a gene for fat taste? So, your ability to taste is wrapped up in tens of thousands of years of your family history through evolution. And all of that evolution is written today, right now, right in you, in your DNA. So if you think about your DNA like a cookbook for your body, then like any good cookbook, your DNA cookbook has genes. These are recipes, right? So recipes or genes, same thing. They are the instructions telling your body how to make something it needs to survive. And to tie it back to taste, my goal is to find the gene or recipe for fat taste. So I'm going to need thousands of people to come into my lab to do taste tests, to answer questions about themselves, and to do a cheek swab, kind of like the CSI shows, except for we're going to use it to study taste genes.
Nicole and other scientists are working on this right now, and they've already begun to prove that fat is a taste we can detect.
And we have a paper published that shows as we increase the amount of fat in a taste solution, people can actually tell us that it's been increased, even when we do it in a double-blind study and don't tell them what's in it. But there's a lot of other work that needs to be done, and I am fully supportive of it, and I think that it's going to show that fat taste is real.
How would it change our understanding of taste if fat is recognized as a sixth taste?
Taste research is being done to understand so much in terms of nutrition. And so the more we can understand about how our bodies work, and if fat is part of that, if fat taste is part of that, then I think the smarter we can be about, well, how do you create recipes that are healthy, that somebody actually wants to eat? Or
Flick to link, link to flick.
Download from BBC Learning English.